Hey guys, how's the villain? So on the last episode, when Larissa got sent home, we saw somebody getting brought back in. Turns out it was Larsa Pippen. So this is interesting because now they have two housewives in the house, Teresa and Larsa, and New York is saying she's not really feeling that. She feel like they're going to try to join forces and disrupt the pecking order. Turns out Victoria also knows Larsa, and Teresa's basically just saying that she would have liked to share a room with Larsa if she knew that she was coming because they're Bravo family, and they were like, well, would you ask New York to move out of your room? And she was like, yeah, right. So Teresa already know. I'm not going to start with New York trying to get her to switch no room. So Kandi goes to talk to Richard about the fact that they both wanted Victoria to go, and they were the only two people that voted for her. Everybody else voted to kick Larissa out. So I guess she's trying to form a little bit of an alliance with Richard. And Richard was like, Wes is playing hard. I don't know if he's manipulating Safari or if Safari is manipulating him. And Kandi was like, oh, Safari's manipulating Wes. Kandi, that's not even a smart statement to make. Safari is literally from Love and Hip Hop. Safari has never done a real reality competition show. Wes has won the challenge 3 times. What in your right mind makes you think that Safari is the one manipulating him? Wes is trying his best to manipulate Safari, but Safari is not fully falling for it. And Richard basically said that if him or Kandi win this week, the 3 people they should put up are Wes, Safari, and New York. Kandi was thinking Safari, Wes, and Peck. So now it's time for Larsa to find a room. Wes and Peck are rooming together. And then remember, Safari and Richard were rooming together. So the room that they're telling Larsa that she could go in is the room with Wes and Peck. So that means that the room has 2 men. She's not really feeling that. And Camilla was like, well, I already moved my bed once for New York. I'm not moving it again. So Victoria suggested that Larsa ask Kandi to move into the room with the guys. Now, you see, I respect everybody's pronouns. I've been referring to Kandi as she. But we all know that Kandi is a drag queen, meaning that you're a man. Kandi literally gets out of drag in the house and walks around, looking very masculine. So why wouldn't you as a man say, I'm going to go in the room with the men? Like, you don't understand why this woman don't want to be in a room with 2 other men. That was weird to me. And Kandi just was doing too much. Like, I really am not feeling Kandi. Talking about you're not my friend, you're not my competitor. It does not matter. You don't know what that woman has been through in her life as a woman that she don't feel comfortable sleeping in a room with 2 men. You as a man, step the fuck up and go in the room. The fuck are we talking about? Shit don't got nothing to do with a competition. It's about your morals as a fucking man and a person. You're a weirdo now. So Kandi was all like, that's my mother effing room and this is my mother effing house. And Larsa said, don't get too comfortable in your room. Basically saying, I'm going to get you voted out. Kandi decided to take that and say, oh, are you saying you're going to go in my room and touch my stuff? If you touch my stuff, you're done. I'm not playing with you. Like, what are you going to do? What is your grown-ass man self going to do to Larsa if she did go in your room and touch your stuff? Even though that's not even what she was saying. So Victoria says that she'll move into the room with the boys, Wes and Peck, which means that Larsa is going to go in the room with Kandi and Camila. So that's going to be interesting because Larsa and Kandi just got into it. So now they're going to be roommates. And then Victoria saying that she hopes that this will keep Larsa as an alliance for her throughout the game. Now Kandi talking about he could be a little hot-headed and he's starting to feel bad for Larsa. So now he's saying he respects women. He understands why she didn't want to be in a room with 2 men. He think he acted like that because he don't like to feel like nobody is trying to take nothing from him. He grew up poor where him and his 6 siblings had to share a 1-bedroom apartment. So he basically tried to say it was a trauma response. I'm going to let it slide. But that shit really turned me off and pissed me off. Like, you're no longer in my favorites of the show. So y'all know Richard is from Survivor. So he always walking around naked. Because I guess, in the Survivor, they be sleeping in the wilderness and stuff. So he still sleep naked. Safari got to deal with that. So the next day, we saw Joel in the house. And it looked like he was hiding something around the house before everybody came downstairs. So Victoria just so happened to be the first person to go downstairs and go into the fridge. When she went in the fridge, it was a letter there that Joel had left saying top secret, open and private. And when she opened it, it was like this little chicken. And basically it's called the knock blocker. So Victoria will be able to take one of the people out of the hit list that the supervillain nominates and choose someone else. And they're told that they're going to be having a 70s party today to welcome Larsa into the house. I'm not going to lie. Safari is just like me because I would have been taking all my free time to be in the pool and the hot tub. I'm not going to not make this a vacation. Whether I win or lose, I'm going to win because I got a free vacation. So Camila's talking to Kandi and Richard, and they're still saying that they want Wes and Safari to go. And Camila in her confessional is like, I have this alliance with Kandi and Richard, but I also have a little alliance with Wes. So I kind of got to figure this out. And that's one thing about Camila. She'll get alliances everywhere, and she's very likable. And I think that a lot of the people in the house are going to underestimate her because they only know about the Bad Girls Club. So they're just thinking, oh, she's some girl from the Bad Girls Club. But they're not really looking into her reality TV career history, that she also did Bad Girls Club All-Star Battle, which was a physical and mental challenge show for the Bad Girls Club. And she also did Love Games, which was like a mental emotional manipulation game to get all of these guys to fight for you. So unsurprisingly to me, when they get down there to the 70s party in their 70s outfits, Joel tells them, just so y'all know, this party is actually the Battle Royale challenge. So this is going to determine who's going to be the supervillain. Okay, so let me explain the challenge to y'all. So they're going to go on the dance floor and they're all going to be dancing. And then you see there's 10 of them. So when the music stops, for example, it'll say, oh, get into 3 groups of 3, which means that will only cover 9 people. So whoever's the one person that's left without a group will be out. Victoria is really not worried about this challenge because she's safe either way. Because remember, if somebody does put her up for the hit list, she can use the knock blocker to take herself off as well. So the first time it was 3 groups of 3. Victoria didn't have nobody, but then Larsa and Teresa took Victoria and kicked Peck out of their group. Then Kandi and Richard took Peck and got rid of Safari from their group. So Safari's the one who actually got eliminated from the challenge. So the next challenge was 4 groups of 2. Peck got eliminated. So they down to 8 people, and now they said 2 groups of 3. So 2 people about to get eliminated. Kandi had grabbed Camila and was like, come with me and Rich. Wes has to go. So Camila was like getting worried because, you know, everybody's seeing what everybody's doing. So everybody's kind of seeing where people alliances are, what's the totem pole, who's the most popular in the house. You could kind of see all of that from this game. So the 2 people that were left out were New York and Wes. But Teresa decides to give New York her spot because she says she want to show New York that she has her back for an alliance. And Victoria gives up her spot to Wes because she said that Wes has helped her a lot in the competition. And Victoria also knows that she's safe because she has the knock blocker. So Teresa and Victoria got eliminated that round. And the 6 people left playing are Larsa, Richard, Kandi, New York, Wes, and Camila. So the next round was 1 group of 5. There's only 6 people. Larsa got left out. She's eliminated. Okay, so it's 5 people left. New York, Wes, Camila, Richard, and Kandi. Joel says 1 group of 3. So Camila, Kandi, and Richard are joining hands. Wes and New York are about to get eliminated, but Wes is looking at Camila like, come over here because you're supposed to be in my alliance. But remember, I told y'all she got alliances with both of them. So New York and Wes got eliminated, and you could tell in his confessionals that Wes is peeping what Camila is doing. And then New York just called Richard out. She told him he's a crafty bitch, and she's disgusted with him. So the last one was 1 group of 1. So basically now Richard, Camila, and Kandi have to decide amongst themselves who they want to be the supervillain. So they decided to give it to Camila. Richard said he wasn't really sure if he could trust Camila because he doesn't know her well enough. But I guess he felt like since she kind of went against Wes in front of them, he should give her that chance because she said she really wanted it. So they asked who did Camila want to take for her reward. Richard and Kandi both kind of was telling her to pick them. They was like, hello, I love you. Choose the 2 people that helped you win the competition. So she ended up choosing them. So last night, Richard had basically told New York she was acting like a child. So the next morning she went to him and she was like, I think I dealt it overnight and I'm ready to bury the hatchet. And New York was like, I just feel a little funk in the air. Like you really don't want anything to do with me. And he was like, I don't want you to feel like that. And I'm not feeling like that. And New York said, you're a terrific liar, Richard. Because he is. Because when him and Kandi had to talk at the beginning of this episode, he literally said, I would send home Safari, Wes, and New York. Instead of saying Safari, Wes, and Peck, which is the actual alliance. So he clearly has something against New York, or he's just threatened by her because she is one of like the most infamous villains on the show that everybody kind of knows from reality TV. You know, you may not know the others. So Richard said, well, if you feel like I'm a liar, then we don't need to talk anymore. And New York said, no, we are going to talk because we live in this communal space and I'm going to ride you until you tell me the truth, basically that you don't like me or that you want me out of the house. So Richard was like, okay, well, ride me then. So Richard is like, I don't understand where that came from. I think New York is just nuts. But New York literally said, I'm good at feeling energy and I feel like he wants me going. So I'm going to get him out first. And like I said, we've seen you have private conversations saying you wanted New York out and she's a threat. So she's not nuts. She just felt your fucking vibes. I feel like before Wes and Safari were his number 1 and 2 targets and New York was number 3. I think now New York just moved to number 1 and Wes and Safari moved down to 2 and 3. So Camila's taking Richard and Kandi out for her reward. And Richard's whole plan with this is to get Wes, Safari, and New York up on the hit list. And I feel like Kandi is going to mostly agree because Kandi and Rich already had that conversation by themselves without Camila there that they wanted definitely Wes and Safari out. They were kind of between Peck and New York for their last spot. But I definitely feel like Kandi will just go with what Richard says now. So Camila really didn't want to talk about the game. She's like, I'm here to enjoy myself for real. So they end up at Top Golf. Camila and Kandi are super excited. Richard is like, where the hell are we? So they had to explain to him what it was. Now, Camila said she really loved Top Golf. Kandi was kind of excited to do it, but he said he never did it before. And he was like, this kind of gives me straight white activity. So they do eventually start talking strategy. And Richard was just like, oh, I feel like we're invincible. I don't know why you feel like that. Because the whole house basically knows that y'all 3 are in an alliance now. So how are y'all invincible? Kandi basically said this is what he feels like is the House of Villains family tree or like chain of command, hierarchy, whatever you want to call it. He said he feel like Wes is at the top. Safari is right under him. And then you also have Peck and New York on that same level because they're close to Safari. And then under them, you have the housewives and Victoria. So Kandi and Richard are realizing through this conversation that Camilla is going to do exactly whatever she wants to do. She does want to hear them out and understands that Wes, Safari, New York, and Peck are like the strongest people in the house. But like she said, it's my decision at the end of the day. Just how last week Wes wanted to nominate Safari as the supervillain so that Safari could do his dirty work, Richard nominated Camilla so that Camilla could do him and Kandi's dirty work. But she's not going to do it unless it's something that she truly wants to do as well. And like I said, Kandi is definitely down to do whatever Richard wants to do. Because originally, Kandi was saying it should be Peck, Safari, and Wes. But now because Richard is saying New York, Kandi is saying, oh, Wes, Safari, and New York. So it's time for the hit list ceremony. And Camilla's like, at the end of the day, I got to do something that's going to benefit me. And I want to shake shit up. So Wes is like, I'm either incredibly safe or she's going to wait until it's too late to tell me because he's not really sure where him and Camilla stand after the Battle Royale challenge. Victoria's just like, I don't really care. I got my little rooster, my knock blocker, so I'm safe regardless. And Kandi and Richard are also not worried. Okay, Victoria, I'm going to give you that little cute line. She said no matter what happens tonight, no matter who Camilla puts up, Victoria's Secret is going to shock them tonight because she has the knock blocker. That was cute. So Camilla said, y'all might hate me after this and I don't give a fuck. First person up is Safari. And Safari's like, well, I was the supervillain the first week and I never even thought about putting Camilla up. So watch if I get back up there, it's going to backfire. Mind you, he's sitting up here with this hot pink, two-piece, leather-looking, latex-looking sweatsuit. You still want to be Nicki Minaj backup dancer so bad. You wish you was on tour wearing that outfit dancing at Gag City, don't you? Next up, she put up Wes and she was like, yeah, you're the biggest threat to me in this house. You think you've been playing this game, but I've been playing it too. As she should. So Joel asked Wes, did he have anything to say? And Wes was like, no. But then in his confessionals, he was like, she has woken up a sleeping giant. And Kandi is just laughing, loving this. So Richard and Kandi thinking everything is going according to plan. Camilla going to do exactly what they want her to do. Camilla last nomination was Richard. She said, remember you told me I shouldn't have trusted you? Get your ass up there and let's see if you can survive tonight. And Camilla said, I'm here for my kids. I'm here for my family. I'm a bad girl. You don't tell me what to do. So Rich, that's why you're up there. And at the end of the day, Safari had put up all the girls except for Camilla, but he did put up all girls the first time. So she was like, I'm putting up all the boys. And I feel like y'all are the three strongest threats in the house. And I said that from the first week. I said Wes and Richard was competing for power and they both seemed to be the strongest people in the house. Richard won Survivor. Wes won the challenge 3 times. And then Safari, just because he was the supervillain the first week and he rooms with Richard and has an alliance with Wes, that puts him up there as well. So everybody's thinking that's it, but then Victoria reminds us of Victoria's Secret and pulls her knock blocker out of her dress. So Victoria decides to save Wes. So now this is going to be dangerous for Camilla. And in exchange, she puts Jesse, aka Peck, up. So she's still basically on the whole girl power thing, but she obviously has her alliance with Wes. So she's still like, I feel like the guy should be up there. So now Peck is like, we should have just got Victoria out last week instead of Larissa. But nobody voted for Victoria except for Richard and Kandi. So the episode ends here. Out of the 3 people up, Safari, Richard, and Peck, I think that Peck is probably going to end up going home. So I will see y'all later this week for episode 4 of House of Villains. Bye.